It's Toronto and New York tonight, right here on MLS Season Pass. Robin Fraser with a 3-5-2. Etienne reinstated with Petretta in a wing-back role, while the Norwegian Ole Brynhildsen will partner tonight with Corbianu. Emil Forsberg thrust out wide to the left, but the good news, Lewis Morgan is back from a knee injury. He gets his first start since opening day. New York Red Bulls in 8th on 27 and a chance to move in to the top 5 tonight. Away we go from Toronto with the Reds going from right to left, seeking a first win against the New York Red Bulls. Such a good job. And heard a lot of praise from Sandro Schwartz, and we sat down with Sandro earlier this week, but they've given it away now. And a chance on this right-hand side. Corbianu. He's got Brynhildsen. Corbianu. Perhaps the wrong decision, but a moment of brightness on the counterattack.
They've done a good job, Toronto, of not allowing Forsberg to get any space. You've said about it, that false 9 trying to run in behind. That's not really his job. He wants to be getting the ball now.
Forsberg releases Morgan, hit the offside. Lewis Morgan, what a save! And tapped in by Mo Sofo. Goal number 9, flag stays down, and New York has hushed Ontario. It's the Red Bulls 1, Toronto 0.
They give the ball away in midfield. Look who picks it up. Forsberg. He's got his runner. Running on the shoulder. He gets in behind. He does it ever so well. He's got his international Morgan. And then the supporting cast is there. Johnson just palms it into the danger. Wonderful little weighted pass here. Him just trying to tuck it away. Nice height. Simple finish. And you can't say they haven't deserved it, because every time they get in the final third, they look dangerous. You looked at Toronto, they went forward, they was quite apprehensive. This time they're efficient, they're clinical, and they've got bodies in the box, and it's a simple tap-in. And all it is just opening your mouth and saying to someone, you stay, I'm going to tuck in, and they're giving the ball away again.
Oh, stolen away brilliantly by Carvalho. Bogac! Strong hands as Sean Johnson got down to deny.
No hesitation. So what that does to his partner, it gives him the ball early in space. He doesn't dwell on it. It doesn't take 3 or 4 touches. Little outside of the right foot. It's in your touch. It's in your path. Take the touch and hit the target. And he nearly caught Johnson out of the near post, because you would think from that angle he's going to go far post.
First quarter of the night. Charge to Raheem Edwards, back on home soil. Whips it all the way across far post. Free header. That one just high as Ayla towering above all others, but couldn't send his opportunity towards goal.
Players make the wrong option.
Quejon. Easy for us to say, right? Here's Corbianu. Drags it in. Good ball across for Brynhildsen. And it was Ayla who just came in at the last possible moment.
Much better. Nothing complicated about it. Get it out your feet, cross the ball, and then he knows to make a run. I think a lot of players get caught up in doing too much for the ball. The game's not simple when you're wide. Get it wide, deliver the ball. Once that happens, a defender will drop off. Then you can do your step overs. Then you can do your combination play that you need to. But do the first principles correctly to allow your teammate to have the opportunity. And it's set piece, Christian, might be that chance.
Yep. First quarter tonight for Toronto. Final minute plus added on time. A chance for Toronto to draw level. Good looking ball in across it. Certainly, New York responded well. Corbianu puts in another one. Long! So close.
Should score. Thompson at the far post. He just took his eye off the ball. They work it well. It comes out, and just look at the far post. Just got to concentrate, but just with the big man in front of it, he just takes his eye off the ball. This is a better angle as the ball's been played in. If he just focused on the ball, but because of that...
Once again, orchestrating was Forsberg, but this time cleared away by Quejon.
And also they're hunting in packs now, so you're hunting together.
Lovely first touch. Corbianu's gotten goal side, and it's Theo Corbianu across. Etienne!
Much better though.
Red Bulls win it back. Carvalho, the Uruguayan, with his head up. Well intercepted back there by Raul Petretta. That will do it, and an energetic end to this first half. Toronto with plenty to be optimistic. A tall ask, a big order against the Bulls. Second half is in play. New York in the tan and red, going from right to left. A pleasure to have your viewing company once again. He's former England international Warren Barton. I'm Christian Miles. No changes at halftime for either side. It was a strong start from New York in the first half. Warren really expecting here in the second.
Well, I think because the way Toronto ended the game, that's why Fraser's made no changes. I think that he may have looked at it if the game had drifted on how it was in the first 20-25 minutes. But New York knew there was going to be a response from Toronto. There's no way the game was just going to pan out the way it did. So, from their point of view, they've had to make a change with Morgan going off. So that's fine. They can deal with that. I think they'll probably give it another 10-15 minutes, see how they're going. But for large parts of this game, Christian, they was in total control. The shape was good, but because of the shape has changed with Toronto, it's given them something else to think about it. So give it another 15 minutes and maybe coaches might start looking at that. But this is another area, set pieces.
Second quarter of the night, Raheem Edwards to take. It didn't come off of Ayla's left foot, and that's the appeals for Kevin Long and company. So referee Philip Dujic awarding back-to-back corners here for the Red Bulls, looking to profit. He's got some towering presences up there, especially with the 6'5" Noah Ayla able to latch on. We saw it in the first half.
Well, that's what they try and do, just load it up at the back post. And
the near side put in by Carmona. Rising was Ayla once again. Referee spotting the infringement, just jumping up over the back as a Swedish defender.
I want to see now with Toronto, can they play with the same energy? Can they play with the same confidence as they did in the first half, and towards the end of that first half? Get the ball out wide, get Etienne involved, get players engaged in the game, and get people out in wide areas where you're going to cause some problems.
Yeah, Etienne drifting inside now, and wheeling around as Bryn Hilton farther away from goal than he might have liked. He's really an old-fashioned battering ram number 9. Etienne, flag stays down. Haitian pulls it across, not cleared well. Petretta, is this their moment? Bryn Hilton thrust into a central role. Maxime Dominguez.
I mean, look how they got
stolen away once again. Here comes the Swiss. Leaves it off. Bryn Hilton wound one up. It's a block from Ayla. It's on for the former Red Bull, Derek Etienne Jr. Switched over to the left-hand side in that first half, and it's reaped positive benefits.
I'm going to ask you, who's had more clubs in MLS? Is it Etienne or Edwards? Because between them, they must have played with every team going. Every time I do a game, one of them two's playing with them.
Well, I'm going to have to say it's Raheem Edwards. He's been well-traveled. You think of not just the Galaxy, but his time with Minnesota United. In fact, won the treble back in 2017 with Greg Vanny and Toronto FC. It's Robin Fraser on the assistant staff for Vanny back then. Here's Cuejo. Delivers it in, not cleared. Long all the way back for the Spaniard. And another bite of the cherry for Alonso Cuejo, who lifts it past Coronel. Headed right back into the mix. Headed on! Oh. And that's the answer! Fight with all their might. Corbiano finally perseveres. It's a whole new ballgame here in Canada. It's Toronto 1. The Red Bulls 1.
They've played on the front foot. There's people around. Good delivery from this side. And they attack the ball well. They keep it alive from this situation as it lands to him here. What a header. What a brave header. I spoke about sometimes with his tackling, but he puts his head in and he guides it into the corner. What a start for Toronto. And they've just kept that momentum going. They kept believing. Dominguez in midfield were closing down Longstaff, and they keep going with a set piece, and they're back in business. They was all set back, and whoever was on the ball could do whatever they like. But now they've got a red shirt in front of them.
A higher line of confrontation, that is for sure. Here's Raheem Edwards, and Raheem Edwards! Put it on that right foot. Lovely technique from the Canadian. Really scoring against his boyhood club.
I think with Edwards here, you're going to bend it in that far corner. But he just tried to give Johnson the eyes, and he's just able enough to get that big right hand across just to push it away from danger. You can see it there. Just normally you think from this angle you're going to go in this corner to his left. But Edwards now with Valencia as well to keep getting it out to him and let him just do his magic.
It's broken here for the Canadian. Pulls it across. And no one on that far post. And Kyle Duncan not taking any chances.
Yeah, he's feeling it at the moment, the number 7 for Toronto. He wants the ball. They keep giving it to him. He knows. Because he's just simplified his game. Because before he was doing step overs, drag back, he's getting out his feet, he's crossing the ball, he's keeping the fans engaged. They're getting behind the team where they're trying to suck that ball into the goal where they are. And, you know, before it was a delivery. You know, people coming in, new personnel. They've made some changes, so does everybody know their matchup, know their jobs?
Right in front of the Lakeshore Terrace section, Quajo belts one in the curler, long! They rose to it, couldn't steer it goalwards.
Just stretching, wasn't he, the big man? Just stretching away from him, the Irishman. If he could have come onto the ball, look, he's doing like a static jump as he's trying to get there and guide it into the corner. But again, they've looked...
Leagues Cup, of course, coming up just around the corner. Those League MX sides kind of relishing their opportunity to get some revenge after lackluster 2024. Easy catch for Coronel. Hasn't had a heck of a lot to do it. A little bit of a shoulder on Brynhildsen.
I don't think he needed to do that.
Love tap, if you will. New York style. Meanwhile, first touch of the game. Hall going to work on this left-hand side. Julian Hall introducing himself to Sean Johnson.
Yeah, don't mind that. Johnson will take that all day long. But all comes in on that. Now we know predominantly right-footed. He's going to come inside, and Johnson just getting them all set, making sure that they're all going into the last 5 minutes. All eyes will be on the fourth official as well, just to see.
Take a look. Not for the faint of heart, and have some of this.
Not me and you coming to work. Get out
exactly.
of the way, will you? Get out of the way. That's you on the floor.
I always had to clean up your mess anyway.
Yeah, you'll be holding your face, wouldn't you? Was it?
Ngoma plays it. Younger options abound, curls one across. There is Gussie Thompson. Toronto in some hot water. Steal in behind Longstaff. This is one you don't want to end. And look, it doesn't come in as that marquee fixture, that one that's going to capture all the headlines, but in terms of quality of play and entertainment value, it has been top-notch.
But I also think Toronto, big club. New York, we know with their brand, big club. Toronto, you want to see a response. And going into the second half of the season, Robin Fraser will be delighted with his young players to go in there. And just to remind his senior players, you know, get off the treatment table, start getting out there to help us. We've got players coming back.
Here comes Spicer! Stopped cold by Coronel. Another positive influence from the substitutes bench, and it was the Trinidadian winger who nearly had the final say.
If anything, Chris, he probably hit it too clean. No.
Stefanovic wins the header. Forward now for Julian Hall. Is tucked inside. Good technique from the 17-year-old. Lays it out wide for Dennis Younger. Hits it first time. They've won another corner. And once again, Toronto in peril. This may be the last quality chance the Red Bulls have to take victory in Canada. 13 unbeaten against Toronto FC.
Yeah, it looks like Valencia's going to be taking it with his left foot. Johnson just making sure that everybody's picked up. You would think they're going to go with the big guys at the far post. They're going to take their time and run the clock down, and as you rightly said, this could be the last kick of the game. What a defining moment it could be for both teams in these dying seconds.
Concentration, priority number one on both sides of it. Valencia to take. Looking for a quality service from the Panamanian left fullback. Valencia in, bounces around, and Toronto do just enough.
Don't foul. They're not foul.
Ngoma gives it away. Referee calls it quits. This one is in the books. It was a Eastern Conference 6-pointer, but a share of the points for Robin Fraser.